Do you wonder if others are dealing with the same project management challenges as you? Not sure where to turn for guidance and leadership? Office hours are in session as we discuss project management and PMOs with global leaders, hearing their story and learning their secrets to success. Our goal is to empower you and help you elevate your PMO and project management career to new heights. Welcome back to Project Management Office Hours with your host, PMO Joe.
Welcome, everyone, to Project Management Office Hours. We're the #1 live project management radio show in the U.S., broadcasting to you from the Phoenix Business Radio X studios in Tempe, Arizona. I'm your host, PMO Joe, and for the next hour or so, we'll be talking project management. I want to just wish everybody a happy early Mother's Day, or early Happy Mother's Day. We've got that coming up this weekend. So to all the great moms out there, happy Mother's Day. And of course, with the COVID pandemic going on, I haven't seen my own mom for almost 2 years now. So she's going to be out here in the Phoenix area for my son's high school graduation. So it will be great to see Mom a week or two after her birthday and Mother's Day. And of course, my wife, Alyssa, who does an amazing job with our family. Thank you for all that you do. You've helped raise 4 great kids. Mostly you, not so much me, and you've done an awesome job. Also want to mention I'll be speaking at the PMI Central Mississippi chapter on May 18th, and I'll be sharing my session comparing project management to making pizzas, which is always a fun conversation to have, especially during a lunchtime chat. So I encourage everybody to take a moment, go out to the chapter website, which is pmicms.org, and you can register for that event out there. I want to thank our sponsors, the PMO Squad and the PMO Leader. A reminder to everyone to go out and visit Project Management Office Hours, our show website as well, so you can see all of our upcoming episodes and also catch all the prior ones if you hadn't had a chance to catch them. And I am super excited today to have our guest, David Barrett, joining us from Canada, north of Toronto area, right on the southern, or I guess one of the Lake Huron areas, if I'm correct. David, welcome.
That's pretty close to it, Joe, yeah.
Yeah, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. Very pleased to be here.
If you could just take a moment and say hello to the listeners, introduce yourself, and let everybody know a little bit more about you.
I sure will. Thank you. Well, hey, everyone. I'm David Barrett. I am, sometimes it's hard for me to sort of capture it all in under the 30 seconds allotted, but I'm a project management guy. Have been so for 35 years, staring at my PMI membership card, which doesn't make me the only way I'm a project manager, but I joined in 1995, member of 2 chapters in the Toronto area. My career, not as a project manager, but more of like a PMO Joe, a guy that brings people together, that helps people learn, that pulls in great resources and says, okay, let's use other people to stimulate conversation. I've built project management conferences around the world, Project World, Project Summit in the United States. I built ProjectTimes.com out of my basement. I built a master's certificate in project management through 9 universities in Canada. Oh, man, there's 8 books, and about 3 or 4 of them are collaborations with 25 to 30 other project managers. And lately, short series, a TED Talk series for project managers called Project Talks. And then the latest we'll tell you a little bit about later called ProjectBites. So that's kind of the dude I am. I've been a professional speaker for 8 years in the project management and leadership circuit. Have had a ball, but you know what, Joe? I think my time is done on the traveling side. So I'm ready to settle down, just work on my new projects and stop the travel. So a little bit of that virtual presentation stuff for chapters, but otherwise, that speaking side is probably coming to an end. And I think that's me, father of 4 and grandfather of 5 or 6. I haven't counted lately, and a Canadian. That's it.
Well, that's a lot, right? I mean, you have covered a lot of ground in your time. And as a member of our industry, thank you for all the contributions to help try to work to improve everything that we're doing. So thank you so much.
It's been a ball. I've been lucky, Joe. I I go back to 1995 when the PMI was 30,000. I like to tell people, back then, if you could spell project management, you could get a job.
Yeah.
If you could spell project management and had the letters PMP beside your name, which was like one of probably 8,000 or 9,000 at the time, only worldwide, you could probably own half the company. And it was, they were good times. I got in when there were lots of holes, lots of gaps in the industry, no conferences, no events, no newsletters and magazines and portals. But of course, there was no internet either, but that's beside the point. But it's been a nice ride.
You made a lot of contributions that have helped us get to where we are today, right? I mean, obviously, this isn't just an industry built on the work from PMI. There's contributors such as yourself and many others who have helped get us to where we are today. And we're still growing, right? I mean, there's still so much more out there for all of us to experience.
There really is. And I only mention PMI just to give it an anchor about growth and, timing. But, oh, man,
sure.
People said to me often, how big is the project management community? How big is it out there? Well, help me define that. I can tell you how big your local PMI chapter is. I can tell you how big the global. Those are two numbers we really, really know.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that my guess is that if you look at the size of either of those, multiply by 10 to estimate the size of the global, of the PMI community in that defined region. So if it's your local chapter, 10 times that is probably the size in your local area of people that are professional project managers. That's it. Just professional project managers. They call themselves project managers. Mm-hmm. And then I suggest, and here's growth, that multiply that number by 10. And then you talk about everyone that has anything to do with projects out there, but don't necessarily call themselves project managers. And it's a big area, an opportunity, but an area and a need for people, especially the non-project managers, that second times 10 number. What, how do you manage projects? But I don't want the course. I don't want an association. I don't want membership. I just want you over the fence to tell me how to run my daughter's wedding or my, the fundraiser at the local area. So yeah, it's a big community. It's a big community worldwide.
Yeah, the accidental project managers, I'm sure there's equal, if not a larger percentage of them in the world today. And, we had a guest on, I guess it was David Noor, who was on a couple episodes back, and he had talked about when people ask him, what is project management? He said, well, just look around. Everything that's been built, everything that you see, a project manager led the project to be able to construct it. It may not have been a formal project manager, right, as you mentioned. It may be a non-certified PM, but somebody's running a factory, somebody's running an assembly line, somebody's running, well, maybe an assembly line's bad because that's not unique. But every highway project, every building project, they're all unique, right? I mean, every one of those, there's a project manager involved.
And I'll start to challenge the purists out there, because that cake that was built last night in someone's house, that was a project, right? Mm-hmm. Oh no, come on, no, that's not project management. It is a project. It's got the beginning, it's got an end, it had a budget, it had a scope, and it's a project. So it's broad. People have had a hard time recognizing that. And, in the old days, it was, this is us and this is our membership and this is our certification and love them dearly, but it's a lot broader than that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mentioned, right, I'm talking in a couple of weeks about making pizzas, right? Comparing that. I mean, there's a recipe, right? Every pizza is different. There's a budget, how many, is it dinner for 2 or is it dinner for 20? I mean, I've got a pizza oven in my yard, so I had to get a budget for that. I get the right tools. So not to give away the whole talk, but
don't give away the
it's comparing this, as you mentioned, right? They're all projects. There's a recipe you can follow.
And then change hits, and then something burns, and that's what we have to deal with, isn't it? It's perfect. It's perfect. And there's quality control, and there's managing the other people in the kitchen and near the burners, and it's the team, and it's people management and leadership, and it's fun. It's
Absolutely.
Fun.
So you've been around a while with tremendous contributions. Obviously, there's been an evolution in the industry over time. What are some of the biggest challenges that you're seeing out there for project managers today?
Well, for me, that's an easy answer. It's a huge, huge community, and it's competitive. And as I said back then, 1995, 98, 99, even through Y2K, if you could spell it, you were gold. if you were a member, wow, you must know about project management. Can you help us? People didn't know about project management. People were running into trouble. People were having a difficult time admitting that IT and telecommunication projects were projects. They were good times, and you really had an easy run. We had an easy run, and people that are listening can't see me, but my hair is gray. We had a good run, me and my friends, my cohort. The problem and the challenge today is that the PMI is now, instead of 30,000 large, it's 800,000. Instead of maybe 9 or 10,000 PMPs, there's 1 million certified PMPs in the world. Now, multiply that by 10 for the professional. So go beyond PMI. Yeah. That means there's probably about 8 million professional project managers out there that don't bother with the PMI, but they're out there looking for those jobs as well. And in your community with a chapter of 2,000, there are probably 20,000 professionals out there competing for the next job and the next gig, internal in your own organization or as a gig project manager for those external projects. And I think that's the biggest challenge, Joe. I think that we are training so many people. When I started my master's certificate program here in Canada for one university, we expanded so fast. We've graduated 13,000 people from a program that retails at about $9,000. And the demand back then was huge. Well, now we've got every college in the area, every private sector and small folks, and everyone's training project management and PMP and all this cool stuff. There are so many people coming out of that training machine and saying, great, where's my job? But there are also people coming out of 5, 8, and 10 years worth of experience and saying, okay, where's my next gig? Mm-hmm. And it's not there. And it's not there because, well, there are many reasons, but mostly it's just there's a lot of competition and it's not a cakewalk anymore. And so we have to be different, think differently, act differently, do differently, do different things. The market has changed. It's competitive, and it's no longer a slam dunk to move from one organization to the other. We here in Canada, we have in Toronto, we have the financial sector of Canada basically captured in about 8 blocks of the city of the downtown core. All of our 6 major banks with their towers and their thousands and thousands of employees just here, let alone the branch system. And these IT project managers, one bank, the Royal Bank of Canada, their IT division alone is something like 800 project managers in one sector, in one piece of the business. So they do what they call the tour. And these gig project managers go from one bank to another, and then from one insurance company to another, from one telco to another. They do the tour, 2 to 3 year projects or contracts at a time. It used to be automatic that someone would want you. And now we're hearing, I just had the last year off. And I had 15 years of experience as a project manager. I had 8 years of subject matter expertise. I have my designation from the PMI and or others. I'm really good at what I do, and I've got a great reputation. And no one picked me up. That's what's changed. It's crazy.
Well, and what I wonder, I think back to 2008, 2009, right, when the last Great Recession had hit. And post that, there was this giant influx of newly certified project managers. The uncertified that you had talked about, right, that 10X, went out and got certified and flooded the market with certifications because they were laid off. They had time to be able to go get certified and think that that was their way to get entry into the market. Yeah. And I'm concerned again with this time in the pandemic with a lot of layoffs that we're going to see another surge of that here in 2022 and beyond, of people thinking, if I get certified, that qualifies me, not realizing there's this tremendous talent pool that's already been out there running projects for their 15, 20-year career. And what are you going to do with that? We don't need more PMPs, I don't think.
Well, sorry to PMI members and to those that got your PMP. You know what? I'll talk about certification, how important it is, and congratulations, and you should have done it. But that designation just is the baseline these days.
Yeah.
So as I'm looking for my next project manager, internally, externally, I've got to create a baseline. In the old days, it was just, you mentioned project management in your resume. Today, it's like you've got 8 years of experience. You've got half of that subject matter expertise. You've got your PMP, and you've got some really good training program under your belt beyond just a PMP prep course. Like you've gone and sought out good training. Well, wasn't that good enough? No. That's just baseline. That just takes you from the pile of 40 applicants to the pile of 10. And I'm only interviewing 3.
Right.
Yikes, and you're right. We're going to see another surge. And we're going to see a surge of people that had the time to take 1-year-long courses from a college or a private institution and take the time to do it. And they're going to come out and say, great, where's my job? And they're going to be sorely disappointed. And they're going to be looking at people who said, you told me that this was the hottest ticket in town. You told me that project managers were in demand. You told me that if I did this, I'd be guaranteed a job. And I haven't helped the folks that said it because they're wrong.
Well, and the challenge and additional challenge, right, because there's not just one of them, right, that we face is we did see an uptick in pulse of the profession this past year, but success rates, let's just say, trending about 55, 57% success. With all of these project managers, we're not getting better, right? We're not, it's a coin flip on how well we're going to do on these projects. And organizations are starting to lose confidence. And why do I need a project manager to go run that? If it's a coin flip with one, why do I have to pay that extra salary for someone's certification experience when I can put somebody in maybe who isn't a real project manager, and real in the sense of professional or certified, but they've been able to get shit done their whole career, right? So let me get one of them to run stuff and we'll have better success. So are we diluting the talent pool, focusing on certifications and not on the results of successful projects? That's one of my concerns for this influx of this huge community we have.
Yeah, I hear you, Joe. It is getting diluted, and sometimes, and some organizations are getting discouraged because they bought into that certification or whatever that label was, or they did the due diligence and they got someone that couldn't handle it. It is a very competitive field out there. We are looking for people that have great leadership skills, because it isn't just the technical project manager. It is the leader we want. It's people that can get us through the change. But I didn't know COVID would hit. I don't care. That's just one of the things that we expected you to deal with. And it's just, we're looking for more. We're looking for more. And we've got to be better at what we do. We've got some fabulous project managers out there, and thousands and thousands, and they're great. We need more really great project managers, but we need them to be different. I need a new project manager today. I'm done with, I expect the on scope, on budget, on time. I expect the certification. I expect to see really good education and effort to progress yourself. That's all baseline. I'm looking for more. And that's the challenge out there. And we hope that those organizations find that, because we've got some great people. You didn't have to stop using project managers. That was stupid. Come on back. But let's just help you find the really good ones. And we will, Joe and David and Barb and Susan and Tom, we will tell everyone, and Karen, sorry. We will tell everyone, we will preach listen, we're going to change this up a bit. We're going to change it, and we're going to help this industry understand that the tick box project manager is no longer, and you're expecting more. Give us a year or two, and we will start producing really good project managers for you.
Yeah, and that you've done. A lot of the community work you're doing is giving those additional skills that we need, right? I've had several clients who have said, "Hey, Joe, we want you to come back and work on some more projects with us." It wasn't because anything we did with the project management side was necessarily that great, but we knew how their business worked, right? We knew what it meant for them to get a repeat business from customers. We knew what it meant to be able to understand that client satisfaction could lead to project success, even if we were over budget, right? I mean, there was more than just, to your point, the triple constraint that we do as a business, and that makes us stand out, right? That gives us an advantage.
There's no doubt. People say, so what can I do? I got a whole list of things you can do, and I'm on that bandwagon. But top of the list is learn the business. Is get the blinkers off. It's understand what business success means to us as an organization. And satisfaction means to our customers, community, whoever we're delivering to, whether it be our constituents, our employees, our internal, external clients, the residents of our state, province, or country. It is so much more important than just building it on time, on scope. I remember running our conferences. I remember a panel discussion, and someone said, what's the role of a project manager? And we're in the 90s, and we're struggling with the new stuff and the newbies. And someone said to this very, very senior panel, what do you think a project manager's role is? And someone says, build it on time, on scope, on budget. That's what we do. Duh. That's what the PMBOK version 2.0 says.
Right.
Someone said, brilliant. What happens if it doesn't work? And the answer was classic. That's not our problem.
Oh, jeez.
And that was the day.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't our problem. There are people in the organization who will look after that. That was strategy. That was business satisfaction. That was a business decision. And that's not what we are in. And so to your point, learning the business, understanding client satisfaction, understanding the value that our projects deliver to our constituents, it's number one on my list. Get those blinkers off and start to connect the work that we do as a project team to the goals and objectives of our organization and our customers. And then we start seeing success. And then we add value. Value number one of 3 or 4 or 5 I can list off, but number one, it's that extra value. It's the answer to I see the baseline stuff, but what else have you got? And your extracurricular activities are important, but really, what else do you have?
Mm-hmm.
And it's that reputation for being someone who really knows the business and can drive not just our work, but our team. Because I say, the more we inspire, the more we know and connect our work to strategy, to the long-term goals of this organization, short-term, medium-term goals, to our customers, the more we can do that, the better we can inspire our people to be better at what they do, to drive job satisfaction, because we go back to it's incredibly competitive, not just at the project management side, but the project people side. The doers, the builders, the developers, the coders, and all the others, we need to keep them too. So it's competitive down there, over there. And so as leaders, as project people, we need to inspire them and have them wake up every morning. I love saying this, every morning and saying, damn, I love working here.
Mm-hmm.
Because because it's organized. It's a great culture around our projects. I blogged last week on my own blog. I blog every week, and this one was about building a project execution culture. It's so critical, and that's how we keep our people, because they love it, because we are a culture. We are happy. We are looked after. They care about my professional growth. And yeah, you get me going now. Slow me down. Slow me down.
But how do we do that, right? Because I'm with you. I mean, we're walking down the street holding hands on this theory. But the challenge I've always run into is the certification, right? The standard that we go for is the technical side. So that's the baseline you mentioned, right? So how do we get our PMs beyond the baseline to be able to understand the business, to be able to make the connection to customer satisfaction? What do we need to do as leaders in the industry, or our communities, or our companies and PMOs, to be able to get the PMs to elevate and take it to that next level? How do we get them?
So, Joe, I got a list of a few of those, but I can tell you the number one answer to that is the CEO of this organization needs to stand up on a pedestal one day and tell that to us and announce that project management is a core competency in this organization, and that we are going to build a culture, an environment that allows our project management team to flourish across the organization. We need to give permission to people to put their chests out and say, God, I'm important. And this organization is important to me, and we are going to work as something more than just a project management team in the back corner. So when he or she has to stand out, it stands up and says, when we talk about core competencies, one of them is absolutely project management. Then everyone's going to turn around and go, whoa, where did that come from? And all of a sudden, we get the buy-in from the top. And I think that's one of the first pieces of the puzzle. Mm-hmm. That support at the senior executive level, at the C-suite level, that says we count. And once we get that, then we have permission to do a whole bunch of things, like bring our project management team out to the forefront, give them the keys to the marketing department, to we can walk in there with authority, which we've never had in the past, to the engineering department, which we've never had in the past. We always sheepishly walked in and said, by the way, we're trying to deliver the big project and you've got a piece of it and we need you to deliver a little bit early here and we'd like to talk. Get out of here, we're too busy. This is tradition. We're just project managers. Or, get your boss to call me because I don't listen to you. We need the authority, and we're not going to get the authority until senior execs tell us, or tell everyone around us, she has authority. This team is important. And by the way, if you don't know what they do, there's a webinar next week, or there's a lunch and learn in the lunchroom next week about project management and what they do. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, in my organization, this is a pretty good career. We're looking for new project managers because if you know our business, we'd like to talk to you about maybe introducing you to what these guys and gals do, because this is good because we want our project managers to come from within because they know us. And so, get crazy. To answer your question, yes, it starts at the top. And then there's so much more we can do with that support.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the challenges. I'm with you, right? And we've seen, again, Pulse of Profession data that shows the project success rates are, 4x with engaged executive sponsors beyond those without. So we know the data supports that. We find, right, as we go in, the PMO squad goes out and helps firms with consulting, is getting the executive to make that decision, right? It's organizational change at the highest level. It becomes the challenge, right? It's that PMO director or CIO is saying, yes, yes, yes. Now, can you help me get my CEO on board with that? Is the big challenge.
Well, you know what? We hope times will change. It's this last year and a half has been a tough one for many industries and many organizations. It's very competitive out there. And I think when smart leaders think about that competitiveness, about corporate organizational success, about winning new business, about growth, if they should realize, and we hope they will, and maybe through what we can do as a community, is they'll see that the faster and the better you deliver, the more connected you are to the business and strategy, to the project piece, the more important we are. And so it's an educational piece, I think. Joe, as long as we stay in the back and we keep delivering on time, on scope, and budget, as long as we keep throwing the tick list at them and said we're done, we're not going to win any support from the CEO. They're still going to look at us like they looked at us 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. But when we start having the different conversation, when we start giving truth to power and saying, excuse me, I hate to bother you, but I want to let you know that we're about to wash $16 to $20 million down the tube if we don't stop what we're doing. And having that CEO or that executive saying, have a seat. What do you mean? And we need the authority to do that, but we need to be smart about it. We don't, none of this, I just feel it in my gut. But as we've worked through this project, I want to show you the numbers. And I want to show you what the rest of the industry is doing. And I want to let you know, because we're quite tied to that telecommunications piece, or that satellite that's been launched just last week, and that whole world of cellular connectivity, that there is something happening out there that we need to see. And because we're in the project side, and so you can hear the conversation, right? The details aren't important, but that conversation is new. Mm-hmm. And we need to talk that, and we need to help our project managers get off the blinkers off, learn the business, as you and I said, the client satisfaction strategy, and then it's a different conversation. It's a different conversation. And when that team hears the conversation, gets the knock on the door, sees the email coming from the project team that's related to the business and industry, movement, trends, then hopefully over time, not tomorrow, but over time, the conversation might change.
Well, and I think one thing that I believe is impressive that can back up what you're saying is the work you've done to build different forums for that sort of message to get out, right? It's not just, the PMBOK and others, important, necessary, helps center our industry on board with that. But the reason why I have this show, right, is to give people like you a voice to be able to speak to the industry beyond just what we learn in the PMBOK. And you've done that during your career as well with Project World, Project Summit, Project Times, Project Talks, right? How do you keep coming up with these ideas to be able to bring a broader vision and communicate out to the industry through these different events or industries or activities you've created? Where'd you come up with all that? Why'd you come up with that?
Well, it's a good question because I'm crazy. My wife won't let me dream up anything more. I want to open a bridge school for beginners and she won't let me. I want you do the training. It's a brilliant idea. Baby boomers learning how to play bridge. It's a goal of mine. No, not allowed to do that. No more tricks anymore, except for the 2 new ones I'm going to tell you about later. I think what happens is I have a thing about growing others, about promoting the role of the project manager, about helping others succeed. And I think, so where's their gap? So I've been in this training business. I run an 18-day master certificate program over 4 or 5 months. I come and go every second week on a Friday, Saturday, full day classes. Well, okay. I ran conferences 3 to 5 days. I ran a 2-hour event called Project Talks. I've seen it. I've done the podcasts. I've done the keynote speech for 1 hour. I have delivered content, education, inspiration, and through others mostly, in so many different formats. And then you say, so is it working? And the answer is, yeah, you're doing really well. And because it wasn't just one, it was all 8 of those. And are we doing it the right way? So you start to look at other ways we can communicate, teach, learn, and inspire. And then I looked at TED Talks. And honestly, one day I just woke up and said, well, if TED can do it in 20 minutes, why can't we? And what is the difference with that message? And then you realize, okay, it's not a training program, but it's a snap. And it's a snap of inspiration or 1, 2, or 3 maximum nuggets of knowledge that people can then take and move on to the deliverer of that knowledge and say, hey, I loved it. Can you come in and talk to us? Or, wow, where's his or her podcast? Or where's the book? And so I've always kind of been driven by what we're trying to do out there for our customers and for our people. And what are we missing? How can we do it better? There was no conference, and I knew the best way to learn in 1997, 98 was to pull everyone into one room with a couple of speakers and then maybe even walk around to different types of speakers during the sessions and have a choice of 2 or 3. And that's kind of what we did. And it worked. And people said, thank you. And that was kind of cool. And then, anyway, there was always a reason for each one of those. Taking the conference to a city. Well, why that city? Because that city is not getting serviced by the big guns. So it's medium-sized to large. It's not large to really large. It's not a Toronto. It's not a New York. It's not a Philadelphia. It's medium-sized, and they're not getting serviced by the training organizations or conferences or seminar worlds or whatever. Okay, and so that's kind of where my mind goes. What's missing here? Where's the white space? I heard that years ago. Where's the white space? And there's nothing written there, but there is a gap on my board. As I'm looking straight at right now, there is a gap. And why is that there? And there's something that I can do to fill it. And my friends and family and loved ones say, it's not your job to fill all these gaps. And I go, I know, but as long as it's fun and I meet new people and I'm inspired in myself and I'm having a giggle and I don't have to say I've retired. As long as I don't have to say I'm retiring, then I'm going to keep filling the white space.
Yeah. I mean, that's... the PMO leader community that I've built out there is that it was the same mindset, right? It's as we see a lot of work focused on the individual, but what about the organization, right? What about the department, the function, and the people that are running them? And I said, you know what? There's not a site out there in the world that's really focused on them that also allows for transactions, allows sharing content, for interaction. And then we created PMO Leader. So I certainly understand that mindset of there's white space there. How can I fill it with something I think adds value?
Good for you. And that is a community that you've built that is listening in today and listening otherwise. And there's a common connection to all of them. And it's at a very different level now. Mm-hmm. And so there are many different levels within this project community that you and I play with in this sandbox. And you've picked a good one. You've picked a great one. It's a very unique space. And I know that people we appreciate the opportunity to be brought in to be able to talk to our peers, share experiences, share stories with our peers, and come out saying that was a benefit to me and my organization. So good for you.
Well,
it's awesome.
Thanks. Well, and you have your most current one active right now, ProjectBites, right? Tell us about ProjectBites.
Well, it comes from Project Talks, 2-hour events. I was running across North America, primarily in partnership with PMI chapters. A 2-hour event, 8:30 or 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and you're home and in the office at the time, back by 11 o'clock. And people loved it. It was 2 hours long, and it was TED Talks for project managers. In effect, Project Talks. We would have 4 speakers, 20 minutes each, with about 5 or 10 minutes in between. And people came away going, that was really, really good. I love that 20-minute piece. But COVID hit, and we went virtual, and we did really well at the beginning. But then it started to trail off, and I think people were getting virtual evented out. Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah.
Tired of virtual events.
Burned out. Yep.
Burned out that virtual piece. So what do we do? And the idea of finding a central repository, building a portal, building a site where we could collect 20-minute videos. And so that came to me, and then it kind of came. So to what end? Why would anyone be interested? People that are now looking at as organizations, as a corporate license, chapters, we're licensing directly to chapters now, and they are actually buying licenses for their whole membership and saying, "This is cool at a really, really decent price, but this is cool. We'll give it all to them and for a whole year access." And they're doing it because they also recognize, the smart folk recognize, that we are looking for options to to educate and inspire our people. And there is, as I said earlier, there's some really, really good stuff out there that I helped and I'm still doing. 18 days, 1 hour, 3 days, podcasts, books. This is a unique slice. Not everyone's cup of tea. Hey, chapter, 10, 15, 20%. Hey, corporation, 10, 15, maybe 20% of your project management team might be interested in learning via a 20-minute video or audio file. But there is a market out there. TED has proved it. So I got to thinking about building this thing, and we started designing in early fall of 2020. We built throughout the next few months. We started collecting the videos from people I know. I got a pretty serious database of content providers, around 350 to 400. So I went out to my favorite people. And lots of promises, but a lot of people all of a sudden got very busy. But we started building. And so Project Bites, that's BITES, and Project Bites, all one word.com, is a site that offers, as I keep saying, education, inspiration, and those lovely PDUs, and offering it in a format that is unique to the project management community, 20 minutes long each. Never going to an hour, never going to 4 minutes. Let that happen. And there are others doing the 1 hour and the 4 minutes, you and me and other stuff. Mm-hmm. This is 20 minutes only. And we teach our speakers how to present in 20 minutes, how to pop for the first 20 seconds, how to promote for the last 30 seconds. We help them do the recording. We do all the post-production afterwards, but pretty easy stuff. And as I say, if you've got a passion for our business, project management, or the project business, and it's business analysis and project management and all that related stuff. But if you've got a passion and a voice and an interest in sharing that passion with others, then please call me, because we're always looking for people that can present. So we have 68 speakers so far that have contributed anywhere between 1 and 10 bytes. We call them bytes. And we have, I believe, 140 or 130, 140 bytes up so far, videos up so far. So we're covering every category imaginable, from agile to leadership to artificial intelligence in the project management business, and on and on and on. And we have about 140 hours, we have 40 hours of content. Now, all of our stuff qualifies for PDUs. We actually have a tracker that tracks all of our registered users, how many minutes they spend on every video, so they can use it as their PDU reporting tool. But it's not just for PDUs. As I say, some of the stuff it's brilliant. It's brilliant because it's unique and it's different. It's that It's that 1 hour of speech and condensed, and not, I say, don't give me the hour condensed. Give me, if you really do have an hour that you want to share with us, give me 3 bites and split it up. So keep it short and simple. But Project Bites is a subscription service, $90 a person for a year. But I can tell you, quite frankly, Joe, very few people are interested in $90 a year in this thing. What's happening is the licensing through our chapters is phenomenal. We now have, just in 2 months, 15, 16, 17 chapters signed up.
Oh, that's great.
That are now offering it at no cost to their members. We have our corporate licensing is starting to grow slowly. Corporates are hearing about it and saying, gee, how do I get this in front of my people? And that's really exciting. And it's nothing, nowhere near even $45. I mean, let's come on down from there per person. And it's been really fun. Mostly because I'm learning. I'm meeting new people. I got a 4:00 today from a fellow. I don't even know where he lives. And he's connected through someone else, and they link to my calendar, and I wake up and I say, I got, 2 little meetings today, and 30 minutes later, I'm going to meet someone totally new this afternoon that is a potential speaker, and it's been fun.
Yeah,
so
that's
good for me and just keeping me alive, and I believe good for our consumers, good for people that want to learn this way, good for corporates that want to offer a unique training tool to their people, good for chapters of the PMI and the APM as well, who are looking for ways to enhance membership. The PMI has lost 15 to 20% of their members this year.
Yeah.
And they're looking for ways to keep the rest and or attract them back. And what a better way of saying, okay, here's a $90 product that we're going to give you at no cost just for rejoining our chapter. So not bad.
Yeah, we have to find different vehicles to be able to get messages to, right, the practitioners out there in the industry. And Project Bites is fantastic, right? And again, ProjectBites.com, and Bites with an I. And you've been very gracious to us in our show. You're offering up a discount. As you mentioned, it was $90 for the annual subscription, but you're offering that for just $20 for the year.
$20.
Right? If they use discount code PMOJoe.
It's the truth. So you go to the site, you register for a year or 30 days or 60 days, whatever you want, and you will be given I guess it's the $70 discount from the annual registration of $90. So $20 for a whole year, full access. And I promise you, how many am I going to promise? I got to promise you an average of 3 new videos a week is kind of what I'm averaging. But some days I spurt and someone comes in with 3 and I got 4 or 5 others. Continued growth and constant change because we're learning from our members as to what they're looking for. We're going to go to a bit more of a Netflix style presence. So when people look, it's going to change a bit. It's been fun. Yeah. So I welcome any of your viewers, any of your listeners, even if this is a recording, I'm going to leave that open for the year. PMO Joe, capital letters PMO and capital J under small case OE or something like that.
Yeah.
Just try it. So come on in, join us. Love them to take part.
That's fantastic. And I was out on the site today, and for those who haven't been out there, just go in and look at the different list of speakers. And forget the speakers. Forget who the person is. Look at the topic that they're presenting, right? And you'll be able to go through, and I guarantee you, some challenge that you're encountering in your position today, you'll be able to hear somebody talking about it. And it may not be the perfect answer for what you have, but it may inspire you to come up with the solution that you need. Again, this is why I do the show, to be able to talk to people like you, David, who are giving solutions out there for us in our industry and not having it be all about the certification rate. It's not about the test. Mm-hmm. It's about learning from others and the experiences we have and the power of many exceeding the power of the individual, right? So Project Bites is fantastic in that space. And certainly, again, thanks for the offer to all of our community.
My pleasure. Joe, can I add that, by the way, any listener that has that voice and has that passion, please give me a shout. I'd love to hear from you. And I can tell you what's in it for them. We pay our speakers, Joe. We have a contract with ourselves and all of our speakers that we're spinning off 20% of the revenue of the program of the site every year and delivering back to our speakers based on the number of minutes their videos were consumed. And that's all being tracked and behind the scenes. So this isn't charity. There's, I'm not promising a lot of money at the beginning, but no one says I'm in it for the money, but we create a great avenue for promoting your brand if you're interested, because our customer portal, that frame of you, has everything about you and all your contact information, and people will be able to see you, actually hear an interview between you and me, the speakers and me, and then see the bites if they wish. So pretty exciting.
Well, there's another one, right? You mentioned your wife said no more other than these two you have active, right?
She doesn't know about this one yet.
All right.
Okay?
So it's top secret. Speak quietly. What's Transition Bytes? What's this one?
Oh, my goodness. Along the way, it was actually a lady that's with one of the PMI chapters, and she said, "This is fabulous. We're in. Tell us what to do next." I was about to hang up her shit, but wait. Are you open to a new idea?
But wait, there's more, right?
There's more. She said, "My husband and I have written 2 or 3 books on that military transitioning process. And we are gagas about the industry and this product, not the project management product, but the format you are offering would be fabulous for our industry. Great to give that 20-minute video to this huge community of people who are looking for quick solutions, quick ideas, inspiration, guidance, and then maybe even a kickoff into a longer solution, whether that solution would be an entrance into an industry for work, project management. I did a bite. Why would you want to be a project manager? And kind of explaining what our certification, what our business is all about. So we are building Transition Bytes. It is live. There is a become a contributor button to it. This is a big industry, Joe. I'm a Canadian. Our military, someone said, David, let's just be very careful here. The size of the Canadian military is about the size of the National Guard of New York. They said Rhode Island, but that's too small. This, it's, as I understand, 200,000 a year are transitioning out of military, and many are looking. And they're struggling or they're excited and they're looking for advice and exploring. And that's what Transition Bytes is all about, from senior leadership coming out of the military to any level that's looking for work, counseling, advice, education, or anything else. Transition Bytes, we're just starting to build right now. And we're really, really excited. And this will not cost anybody. There will be no subscription. It will be free and open to everyone.
I love it, and I don't know if you were aware of this, but I have a nonprofit organization called VPMMA, the Veteran Project Manager Mentor Alliance, and we provide mentoring to transitioning service members and their spouses to start careers in civilian project management. So I think we need to connect after the show and see. And
I thought it was just because of the PMO, Joe.
No,
my God, it gets better.
It gets better. And there's more, right? So, I think we've got 2 platforms that look like they'd be beautiful to coexist. And my co-founder, I'm just one of the co-founders, Doc Eric Wright, runs an organization called Vets to PM. So he and I have partnered on this, and I think it'd be a great fit into a tool that we could collaborate on and maybe make some good headway on. So after the show wraps, everybody tune back in a week, 2 weeks, a month, see where David and I go with this. But I think there's a good opportunity there. Well,
very exciting. And I can tell you that we've crossed paths already, because Eric has been introduced to me, but it was only just yesterday when I was chatting with someone on the team, and it was Vets to PM. And so my memory, but I will tell you that it was Kathy McLatt.
Yes.
McLatt.
Yep, Kathy
and I
awesome.
met 2 days ago. We met, sorry?
Yeah, Kathy is awesome. She's fantastic.
She and I met 2 days ago, and as a potential speaker and getting Eric involved. There's a small world for you, man.
Absolutely. And this is live on air, everybody. This was not rehearsed. When I saw Transition Bytes, I had no idea what that meant. I thought it was like transition out of COVID that's a military transition.
I'm so pumped. It's so cool to be taking what we're learning from the project side and leveraging it to a whole new community to benefit them. And it's not about project management on that side a little bit, but we're not going to teach people anything other than, We're going to help them understand what leadership is all about, what managing people. Someone's already committed to a bite on the new vocabulary outside of military. How you got to change that, the verbiage. And there's so much we can do.
Yeah, Eric will be great for that. I'm sure he's got a couple of books out, contributions about the transition. And those were collaborative efforts, 80, 90 different authors into the book talking about their transition and their experience. And then again, as I mentioned, in our mentoring program, we're working on interview skills, networking, all the different things that a active duty service member hasn't really had to think about, right? I mean, you don't have to network in the military. You're just told where to go, show up on this day at that time, and this is your duty. This is your orders.
It's scary.
When that goes away, you're like, where do I go on Monday?
Yeah.
How do I get a job? How do I build a resume? I don't know how to do that.
Yeah. The first one, actually, the first one that came in needs a bit of a rework, but it's on the LinkedIn process. I don't know what LinkedIn, under the covers of LinkedIn. So yeah, I'm having a ball, Joe. Having a ball.
And my oldest son, he just turned 18, graduates in about 3 weeks. He's heading off to the Navy. So at minimum 5 years, but maybe a service career later, we'll be able to go back to transition Bytes 10, 15 years down the road and have him look at that as well.
I was around the day that was.
That's right.
I met that guy that started that thing. Don't know where he is now, but I remember.
Absolutely. Well, this has been a fantastic discussion, David. And again, obviously, thanks for all your contributions, your ideas. I think I use something with my leadership team on the PMO squad. We call it's the creative whack pack. It's a set of cards that help you be creative, and it's based off of a Greek philosopher, Heraclitus, and some of his sayings. And every Wednesday we have our leadership meeting, and this past Wednesday we pulled the car out of the deck, and it's dig deeper. And it's saying if you have one idea, you're going to have limited success. If you have several ideas, there's a better opportunity that there's a good one in there. And I think what you've proven over time is that you've had several ideas, and you've been fortunate, right, for our industry and yourself, that many of them have been successful. But you didn't stick to just one, or you weren't a one-trick pony. You came up with different ideas, different concepts, different communities, different vehicles for our industry to be able to benefit from. And I think that's so important that we have people such as yourself out there leading the charge to do that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the kind words. Thank you.
Well, we're wrapping up, and I want to make sure that we give you an opportunity to share with folks how they can get in touch with you, right? Whether it's Project Bites, Transition Bites, email, LinkedIn, whatever it may be. How can they reach out to you, and anything else that you want to share that maybe we haven't gotten to so far today?
Can we talk about the bridge school I want to open up? No, don't go there. Don't go there. Thank you for the opportunity. This was lots of fun, Joe. You're an artist, and it was great chatting with you, and a great contributor to our community as well. It's been nice to connect with you, and I'm sure, as I think we both realize, this is not just the beginning. This is just the beginning, I should say. Folks, I love the LinkedIn is me. If so long as you're in the project management space and leadership space, I will say yes to the connection. And I post almost daily on LinkedIn, interesting articles I see, things from Joe and others, and a little bit from myself. I'm also at davidbarrett.ca. That's Canada.ca. David Barrett is all one word, of course. So that's me as just me. I'm not as enjoyable or as interesting as ProjectBites.com. That's BITES, or TransitionBites.com. Transition Bites, give us please visit. And if you're interested in joining us, there's a membership thing that doesn't cost. It's just who you are. We can keep in touch. Or if you're a contributor, let us know. I'd love to hear from you. But it is new. That site is all of 5 days old. So you are catching us early.
Wow.
However, we're going to start posting up a few of the sample videos that you can see to get a feel for what we are about to do or what you could do for us. So that's it. My email address is dbarrett@solutionsnetwork.com. But forget that. You can click the contact us on any of the two sites and connect with me. Love to chat.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, David, so much for joining us and all your contributions. And of course, thank you to all our listeners, right? Without listeners, we don't have shows, we don't have forums, we don't have communities. And be sure to visit projectmanagementofficehours.com. You can catch all of our previous episodes and see who's coming up. We've got an amazing guest list coming up. Elena Hill, Danielle Torley. You had mentioned TED Talks, right? Danielle Torley was one of the PMI TED speakers this year. Hamutal Weitz and Daniel Zitter will be joining us from Israel. Antonio Nieto Rodriguez, everybody knows, of course, he'll be joining us. Karsten Lay from Vietnam. So our world tour continues with an amazing lineup, and we look forward to hearing their story about the humanity and reality of project management and what we're doing out there. A reminder, of course, that these shows are recorded. We are live, but we do record them and release them as a podcast. So subscribe to Project Management Office Hours on your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, etc. And of course, thank you to our sponsors, the PMO Squad and the PMO Leader. That's it for now. Office hours are closed. Until next time, I'm PMO Joe, and you've been listening to Project Management Office Hours.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Project Management Office Hours with PMO Joe. You're not alone in your project management journey. We're here to help you achieve your goals. Subscribe to Project Management Office Hours on your favorite podcast platform to catch all of our episodes and hear industry leaders share their story and secrets to success.